This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now.
Welcome to Mexico City, they said. Well, we're gonna go through all of the problems and all of the challenges we've been having so far in this city. If you watched 2 videos ago, you might remember we were in a different hotel. Yes, that's right. We had to move hotels because we ran into an issue that we did not expect to run into. We ran out of water at our hotel. But all the challenges so far, so first off, I don't know if you guys can notice in the previous videos, like we flew into the city with colds. Then we totally didn't realize how high in elevation this city is, so we've had some altitude sickness and throw in some food poisoning as well. So lots of different challenges, but we're also going to touch on safety in the city because that is by far one of the most popular questions we get asked.
Literally never been so happy to have running water. It's funny, it's something you don't really appreciate until you don't have it, and of course coming from North America, we're all pretty used to having generally running water all the time. Lots of places in the world are not, and we don't take that for granted, but you definitely take it for granted when you're very, very used to it. But let's go back to what happened. We were staying at a different hotel. We were there for a few days, and then the water went off basically the entire weekend, and we were getting zero communication from them. They basically wouldn't tell us if it was a problem like in the city, it was a problem in the building, and they wouldn't give us an update. They didn't seem to know when water would be back. And the only alternative they gave, they actually said, you can cancel for the rest of the week and move to another hotel, which is what we did.
One thing we keep noticing throughout the city are these water trucks parked outside of buildings, like apartment buildings, hotels. So now we're starting to think this is a massive problem.
It's definitely a massive problem. We just didn't realize how big it was like before we got here. I think what happens is that water does get shut off in various areas of the city. It must run out, I'm not quite sure. And then I think buildings that are really prepared have like cisterns in the basement and they get them filled.
Which is why we moved over to this hotel. It's a Marriott hotel. We're not working with them, but we figured a hotel is our best bet if we want to have water in our place. Right?
Yeah, so later in the video, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about maybe some advice on if you're booking a place here in Mexico City, some stuff to do before you book it so that you can ensure that you're not going to run into the same issues that we did. We're also going to talk a little bit more about hotel status because that's definitely come in handy and how we have it. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right, time for a tour. Don't mind our messy bed, but we do have a very comfortable king-size bed, little night table. We do have this view as well, and I have to say, this is the most quietest room we've ever been in.
There's literally a huge intersection right outside our door. I think we're on, or right outside our window, I should say. We're on the 4th floor. You would think it would be so loud in here. Can't hear the traffic at all. They have must have really good windows, and then it's like an outside space, and then there's another set of windows, so it really blocks the sound. I can't get over it.
Got a big TV behind the luggage here. We have a little sink outside of the bathroom, so this is interesting, but here is the bathroom. It's very, very big, so that's a huge perk.
Please ignore our mess. But one of the talking about perks of having hotel status, we actually have Marriott Gold status through our credit cards. Again, we'll talk about that later, is that we have a suite. We got upgraded to a suite.
Yeah, this is a big room. Look at this. It's like dining room table over there. We have a little kitchenette kind of this way.
Yeah,
There's
a little bar area, I guess you call it.
Yeah, this
Coffee
is
station.
awesome. We really wanted to have a fridge. There's a fridge down there. And then if we go back to this way, we have a very big living room with everything you're gonna need. Another TV, 2 massive TVs in here.
Yeah, so we have 2 TVs. It's basically like an apartment minus the kitchen, but it's amazing because you don't really need a kitchen because you're in a hotel.
The only thing is though, it's a little dark. There's no window.
It is. I wish there was a window right there.
All right, we've made our way outside here in the city. We're in a whole different area than 2 videos ago, and even the last video. We're in Reforma, huh?
Yeah, so we had to, because we had limited options for hotels, we had to pick a whole other neighborhood, which is both good and bad. I mean, I really loved the last neighborhood we were in. We were in La Condesa Roma area, and
that was great.
Really loved it. Now we're in Reforma. It feels totally different, but not in a bad way.
No, there's this major street, I should say, with a divider in the middle with tons of traffic, and I think this road leads to a park that we're hoping to go to later. But there's also lots of high-rise buildings, so again, totally different than the Condesa kind of Roma Norte area where we were before.
So let's talk a little bit about why these water issues are happening, in particular here in Mexico City. And I want to say first off that we are not scientists, and all the information we have we've gathered from reading about it and talking to people. There is a really good New York Times article that I will link in the description below if you want to read more about it. It's really, really informative, and I got most of the information from there. So basically there's 3 major issues. One is that back in the 1500s when the Spanish came here, there was another city here originally that was surrounded, I think, in a lake, and the Spanish actually drained the entire lake in order to make Mexico City the actual city. So they built it on top of like a lake bed and drained what was the primary water source here. Other thing is climate change. It just keeps getting hotter and hotter every year. There's actually been heat records being broken while we've been here. And the third is that this city is massive and it keeps getting bigger. It's one of the biggest cities in the entire world, and more people just keep coming here. And there's just not enough water.
If you're wondering where we're getting our info from, it's a good old phone.
Yes.
So anybody can look this info up, right?
Yeah, like I said, there is this really good article that seems pretty informative. I mean, people can also leave comments below if you have any information that you know about. Maybe you're from here and you know a lot about the subject.
Here's the thing, you guys, it's not just this city that is running out of water. It's some big ones like Istanbul, you got Cairo, Cape Town, Jakarta, even Sao Paulo in Brazil. It's actually blowing my mind. There's some major world-class cities, and they're all running out of water too. Before we get any further in the video, we just wanted to say a huge thanks to Squarespace for being a sponsor once again.
You of course know by now how much we love and trust Squarespace. We've literally built an entire business using Squarespace.
Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that helps you stand out and succeed online. You can easily build your very own website using their super customizable templates. Each template has been crafted by Squarespace's own amazing design team and can be customized to fit your brand.
You can fully engage your website's visitors with a full suite of visual design effects which are built in and ready to go on any Squarespace website. There are dozens of modern and intuitive options. You can then connect your social and multimedia accounts in a few quick steps.
Are you ready to build your own website? Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/delightfultravelers for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website.
And of course, a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting creators like us.
Well, you know us, we are starving and we've come over to a little hole in the wall here in the city. I don't even actually know the name of this restaurant. It's not the one we were looking for. Got some orange juice because I think you heard us say we're not feeling like 100% today. We're under the weather. We got some food poisoning as well. We've been eating a lot of street food, so we're not sure if that's what caused it. So we're trying to give our bellies a little bit of a break. Thought we wouldn't go to like a vendor, like a street food vendor today, just come to a little restaurant. But yeah, just know that if you're coming to the city, I think it's pretty common. A lot of people do get food poisoning. I mean, when we asked around and talked to some other people who've been here, it seems like if you come to the city, just expect you're gonna get food poisoning at least once.
Sadly, we've had food poisoning in different places around the world. It's definitely not just a Mexico problem. I think we've had it in Thailand, we've had it in the Dominican Republic a couple of times. It's funny, I feel like we went for years and never got food poisoning, and in the last couple of years, we seem to get it a couple of times, once or twice a year. It's a little bit frustrating, and I know for everybody that travels, even if you're traveling a week out of the year, you do not want to get sick over food. It's like, the reason we're here is to eat food. But speaking of food, this is definitely the most adventurous thing we've had in quite a few days. We've been really sad not to be eating Mexican food. We were eating really basically the last couple of days, just like some breads and pastas and not really that much. But this is chilaquiles, one of our favorite dishes here in Mexico. It's kind of a breakfast dish. So it has like chips, tortilla chips on the bottom. It's covered in sauce. I see some refried beans and then some egg on the top. All right, I think I have basically everything I need on one bite. Let's try it. I absolutely love this dish so much. It's one of my absolute favorites, and I love that the tortillas at the very beginning of the dish are really crunchy, and then as you like get into it, they start to get a little bit soggy, which sounds bad, but I love how that kind of happens. It like starts to absorb all the sauce. But speaking of the sauce, normally I think at most restaurants you have an option of red sauce or green sauce. They didn't ask us, but they gave us green sauce, and it's so good. I think that's maybe made out of tomatillas, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a little bit spicy, but like just a load of flavor in there. Some cheese on the top, there's the beans, and then of course the egg. So this is like one of my favorite breakfast dishes. I wish you could find it in more places.
Honestly, I'm just happy we're getting our appetite back. Like, this looks really appealing to me today. And over the last 2 or 3 days, I didn't really want to eat anything at all. Easily one of my favorite breakfast dishes in Mexico. Every time we're in Mexico, we try to get this. We absolutely are in love with it. I wish more places in the world would do it. It's actually pretty easy when you really think about everything that's in this. But we're gonna finish this up and head to a park. So this park that we're coming over to is called Chapultepec Park. Now, excuse the pronunciation, but I'm gonna turn just so you can see Anna back there. Look at the structure, you guys. We just got in here and we're seeing stuff like this already.
So whether or not we got the pronunciation exactly right, I do actually have some facts about the park that I found on the internet. I'm gonna go to my phone for that. Hopefully they are correct. But it is actually the oldest and largest urban park in all of Latin America, so that's pretty incredible. and one of the oldest urban parks in the entire world. That's insane. Originally it was on the outskirts of the city, but now this is like right center in the middle of the city. It's like the most urban park you can possibly imagine. There's 15 million people that visit the park every year, so it's a very popular place. And it's 686 hectares or 1,700 acres.
One other thing, it's free.
It's free.
It's absolutely
yeah,
free.
I think there are like a lot of museums in here, and I'm assuming you would pay to go to the museums, but just to come into the park, it's totally free.
It's probably a good time to talk about safety. When we told everyone that we were coming to Mexico City, all the comments back to us on Instagram, YouTube, you name it, people that know us in real life, it was like, be safe, be safe. Or when we got here, people would say like, do you feel safe? Do you feel safe here in Mexico City? And I'm gonna just say it right now, I feel completely safe.
So safe. Like, this feels like a very, very modern city and incredibly safe. I can't even describe how safe I feel. I've never once had one moment of feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very pedestrian friendly. There's green spaces everywhere. The amount of museums is just unbelievable. So it's very like sophisticated.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's danger at all. I'm not trying to be naive. I know there's dangerous parts of the city and we're not in it right now.
Yes, we're not making a video about the dangerous part, going to the most dangerous places
No.
in Mexico City. This is about coming to the city as a tourist. The areas that you are going to generally visit will be the same as we are visiting. We're walking around in the evenings, not late at night, but certainly, 9, 10 o'clock. There's loads of people
Tons.
around, and literally never had at one moment of like feeling uncomfortable or feeling like we were in a weird situation.
So that all said, of course, there are dangerous parts of Mexico in general, but guys, I have to say it, the media, like if one thing goes bad in Mexico, the whole media comes out, especially in Canada and the States, and everyone says, don't come here, don't come here. In my opinion, I feel safer here than I do in lots of places in the United States. Do you?
Yeah, it's unfortunate the way it's treated in the media. If something happens to a foreigner here, it makes international headlines. Everybody hears about it. I guarantee you every day in Canada, in the US, in Europe, there are foreigners that get murdered or injured in certain ways. And it never will make a headline, but here, the moment it happens, it's like reported on.
Everyone knows that as well. When you guys are watching the news, if anyone's going to Mexico, you'll often warn them if you have family or friends. I'm telling you, we're here right now, and this place feels completely safe to us.
Believe it or not, there's actually a castle in this park. It's at like the very top of the hill. I think you have to pay to go in, so we probably won't do that today, especially because we know sometimes museums can be a little bit weird about filming. It's never fun to get in there after already paying and be told you can't film anything. So today we're just going to walk around and enjoy the park. But let's get back to safety for a second. We get asked questions in so many countries about safety, like when we were in Turkey, we're in the Dominican Republic, we're in Romania, it's always like, is it safe there? Do you feel safe? It's probably the number one question we get asked in general. And what we always try to tell people is just use common sense. It's pretty basic stuff, like don't be walking around by yourself late at night, especially in neighborhoods that you don't really know. Take an Uber or take a taxi if you need to. Don't keep valuables in your pockets, especially when you are in a very busy area where you might get pickpocketed. Be protective of your stuff. Don't be show-offy. Don't wear valuable jewelry. Don't buy drugs. Like, it's all pretty basic stuff.
I was going to say the big one. Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
And you'll probably be good. We've just made our way over to this beautiful lake. You guys, you wouldn't even know you're in the middle of the largest city in North America right now. I can't hear any traffic. All I hear is nature.
Yeah, I hear ducks. I see, what do you call those things over there?
I don't know what you're looking at. Oh.
The white bird.
Is it, what are those called?
I always forget.
They're like a predator. I'll try to zoom in. But there's lots to look at around here.
There is, and it's actually so quiet here, as you just said. I can't believe we're in the center of one of the biggest cities in the world, because you literally can't hear any city noise at all.
Guys, look at the size of the tree here. The base is crazy. Anna's going slow because now we're closer to these birds. What are these? I think they're cranes. I didn't get a chance to look it up. Honestly, our signal here is not working, is it?
Yeah, for some reason we're not getting a very good signal in the city. I don't know if it's just like all the buildings and everything kind of interfere with getting a cell signal, or if it's like our eSIMs. Not quite sure, but you can't look stuff up.
The lake here is beautiful. You can see all the boats in it, the kind of paddle boats. And right where we're at in the park now, you can see all this kind of like, I don't know what you call these little pop-ups. Almost feels like you're at a fair, like all the food. It's like cotton candy. There'd be little Mexican trinkets.
And you can go out on a
paddle boats. Yeah, look how many
fun.
there is. I just said that it was like there's paddle boats out there, but look at that, how many. It's like a sea
tons,
of paddle boats. If you're in the city for more than a few days, I'd highly recommend coming here, just because you can escape the absolute chaos in city traffic in general. When you're in this park, it just feels like you're in the middle of the woods, nowhere near the largest city in North America. But now we're gonna see if we can take you guys to one more spot. Something with a view. Well, we have just come over to the Monument à la Révolution. The views here are amazing. You can see people kind of just having a blast outside, playing in the fountains. The architecture of this place is out of this world. Hey, it's another square. We found another kind of square. This time we got the view though. We got a craft beer as well. I know you guys like when we try craft beer, so we thought we'd do it since now we're feeling a little bit better as time goes on.
Yeah, and I don't think you said, but we actually came up to a rooftop bar that overlooks the monument.
Yeah, we're looking that way.
It's pretty cool. We're looking right at it, and it's called Terraza Cha Cha Chá, I think.
Yeah, it's got a fun name, Terraza Cha Cha Chá. But try the beer quickly. Yeah, it's a good one. All the craft beer in Mexico so far has been really good. But back to the water issues, we have some more tips for you guys because I know you're going to be wondering.
So if you're watching this because you're coming here and now you're starting to get worried that maybe you're going to be staying in a place without water, this is what I would advise you to do before you book anything. One is if you're thinking about a hotel rather than say an Airbnb, an apartment, I would find the hotel, obviously, pick your hotel, read through all of the Google reviews and just see if there's any mention, like search like water shortage, anything like that, see if anyone's ever mentioned it. And if you're really concerned about it, even call them or send them a message and see if they have water 24 hours, if they have backup situations, or if they ever run out of water. We actually tried calling the hotel we're staying at now. They seemed a little bit confused. They're like, do we have drinking water? We're like, no, like toilet water, like running water in the bathrooms. And they're like, oh yeah, of course we do. So they seemed a little bit, maybe they just never run out of water, so they were confused about the actual question. But that's what I would do. If you're staying at maybe an Airbnb, I would also read through the reviews and probably contact the host and say, like, does this building actually have like some sort of backup system, something in the basement? Do they have something they can fill up in case water in the area runs out? So you just want to make sure there's some sort of backup so that you're not without water. And funny enough, earlier today, for some reason I'm still getting notifications from the last place we were staying at. There's still water problems, and they actually said over the last 2 days there's only like 2-hour increments of water, 2 hours increments where they will have water in the next couple of days. So I'm so glad we left there.
So one thing we've been trying to do lately is really take advantage of points. We've been playing the travel credit card points game as much as we can. Now in Canada we're really limited with this, especially when we compare it to our United States friends. They have great credit cards, especially when it comes to travel. In Canada we have a few good ones, there's not a lot of great ones, but one thing we have now with Marriott, the hotel, is Gold Elite status. So we have 2 different cards. The reason we have Gold Elite status is because we have the American Express Platinum card as well. But with that Gold Elite status, it got us an upgrade to the room we have now, which was so amazing, especially after having no water for a couple days. But we've really found it like handy to use in cities. When you're in a big city, they can wear you out. Like when you're out all day, I mean, you guys would know when you're traveling, big cities are tough when you're out the whole day, and it's really nice to come back to a hotel, especially when you know there's water.
We actually did the same thing last year. We were in the UK, and it made such a huge difference. We were there in August, so everything was ridiculously expensive. So we signed up for that Marriott Bonvoy card, and then we got all these points, and it actually paid for like almost 2 weeks or something like that, or a week and a half in hotels. It was
like
so great.
$400 a night as well. So that was
it really paid off. It ended up being, sometimes when it's really expensive at a hotel, the points are really high too, but sometimes it's in the middle, which is really nice. Like the points aren't too bad.
We can put some links down below, right?
Yeah, we will, for the credit cards, because they're really good.
Well, that's gonna do it for the video today, you guys. We hope that we gave you some, let's call them pro tips on Mexico City, what to expect at least, especially with the water problem.
Water problem, stomach things, just things to be prepared for when you're coming here.
I know.
Overall, hopefully you guys come and have a wonderful time.
Yeah, we can go through them again quickly. Altitude, the city is really, really high in elevation, and because of that, you're gonna get headaches and things like that. Not everyone gets that, but if you're coming from sea level like we did, and you're not in the mountains often like we are not, it can happen. So just be aware of that. Usually it doesn't last for too long. Food poisoning.
Yeah, it happens, and we did a lot of research and just putting everything out there on Instagram. We got so many messages from people that say they always get sick when they come here. I don't know why. It's a weird thing. Maybe it's just new food.
It's one of those things.
I don't know.
It's like, people say in India there's like Delhi belly, and then in Indonesia Bali belly.
Yeah, so it's the same thing here.
I think it just comes with the territory. We already touched on water. Just know that if you're coming, it's a thing, and it's here already. I thought it was years coming, but no, here we are. But we hope you enjoyed the video. It's Trevor and Anna, Delightful Travelers, just in case you don't know. Hit like, leave us a comment, hit subscribe, share the video, do all the things. If our stomachs hold up and they're feeling pretty good right now, we're gonna do one more video.
Yeah, that's the plan. As long as no other major health things come up, no stomach problems, we will do one more video.
Yeah, so we're gonna go find some food right now and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys, that's it.
From Mexico City, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.